So it is 7:19 a.m. UK time, and Donald Trump has just won Pennsylvania. He's now on 265 electoral college votes, needs 270. I think I checked, he's now on 266. So Donald Trump is president again, which is like historic I think in my lifetime. It definitely is. Never seen someone lose an election as president, then come back and become the president again. And it's just such a disaster for the world. And I'm going to make another video in a bit talking about like my perspective as a British person about Donald Trump becoming president. What does that mean for Britain? I don't really like know, to be honest. It's a weird one. But we have to talk about why he's won. But let's focus. I don't think Donald Trump has won. I've seen some people saying we just got to accept he's so popular. He is popular. Kamala Harris lost this election, and it was just a terrible campaign from start to finish. Now, I didn't see Michigan being called, so I'm just checking here. No, Michigan hasn't been called, although Donald Trump is winning in that as well, apparently, so far, with 70% of the votes counted. This is looking like an absolute disaster. This is worse than Clinton. Clinton won the popular vote. It's looking like, I mean, I'm not going to say a landslide yet, but it's looking insane. And I think it's completely down to the Democrats. Obviously Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris had loads of goodwill. When Joe Biden stepped down, there was genuine fear with Trump. And obviously he didn't even do another debate because she did so well against him. But her campaign has been a complete fucking disaster. And I've been talking on stream all night. I've been streaming for about 3 and a bit hours. And we've been talking about this. We've been talking about campaigning on I am not that person can only go so far. And when you're campaigning on I am not that person, it works when you weren't in power. So if we look at when it worked with Joe Biden in 2020, and it worked with sorry, just clicked something on my thing. It worked with Keir Starmer in 2024 in the UK. Just about worked. It just about worked for both of them, where they realised the government and that polarising party or figure was so unpopular they could basically run on returning things to normal. It doesn't fucking work when you're in charge, because every problem Americans have, they're going to blame the government. Who's in the government? You're the vice president. So everything they have a problem with, inflation, jobs, things they think they have problems with, they will all blame you. So if they're all going to blame you, you can't campaign on, like even saying shit like she did. I don't have any differences with Joe Biden. I'm the same as Joe Biden. Everyone fucking hates Joe Biden. Why the fuck did you say that? So my main problem with her campaign is people got mad in my video about Elon on Monday. I said, this is the vibes election. And in a vibes election, you have to simplify the campaign message, because if they don't like your vibe, because, you know, Trump's got the fame, he's got a cult around him, you have to propose some sort of policy, right? So I said Obama in 2008 had so many. He had the style, because he's a great speaker, but he had the substance, and even little things like end the Iraq war. That, you know, she could have taken some inspiration from that. I'm going to bring peace to the Middle East. Like, hammer home that message. I'm going to bring peace to the Middle East. Hammer it home. Didn't do that. Things like Bernie Sanders in 2016, universal healthcare, which made him so popular. Nope, none of that. And people have been messaging me like these incrementalist policies. You're not going to convince anyone who's undecided to vote for someone based on incrementalism. Never fucking works. So absolute disaster. Her campaign was terrible. And also, Democrats even allowing her to become the nominee. Oh my God, even getting Joe Biden to step down was such a big moment. She basically came fucking last in the Democratic primary in 2020 because she's a charisma vacuum. She's a terrible politician. She has a terrible history as a politician, and no one fucking likes her as well. And there are so many people you could have chosen. Like, look at the candidates even in 2020 that you had. Bernie, obviously a bit too old. Pete Buttigieg. You had Elizabeth Warren. Not that I particularly like her, but you know, she did pretty well in the Democratic primary. And you had none of that. So you're picking someone who's really unpopular, was a vice president that no one fucking liked anyway, and a vice president people would joke about is going missing, and now she's lost. Now, obviously, it is down to her, but it's down for the Democrats to being so incompetent, putting all this effort to get Joe Biden out, to replace him with someone who is less popular than he was back in 4 years ago. Never gonna work. So again, don't know what the fuck the Democrats are playing at. And the thing is, here's the main thing as well. While they ignored all the leftists and progressives, somehow someone told them wheeling out 90-year-old Dick Cheney literally like 99% Hitler to endorse you with his daughter that everyone fucking hates. Apparently that's a good strategy. Who the fuck did they think was being brought over to her campaign and the Democrats by getting Dick Cheney's endorsement? Everyone fucking hates Dick Cheney. Everyone hates him. Republicans now hate him. Republicans hate, or Donald Trump. He literally said when he was ran for president the first time, he was against the Iraq war. It was a lie, but he did it, and he tried to appeal to his anti-war people. And there's still some sort of mythology around Trump. He's anti-war, right? So wheeling out Dick Cheney, being like to undecided voters, yeah, don't you remember when the US was full fascist and this guy ran it? He's now endorsing Kamala Harris for president. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? It's like Keir Starmer. I mean, he did kind of do this, like wheeling out like Margaret Thatcher if she was still around, be like, oh, she endorses me for prime minister. Like, what? Why? I couldn't think of anyone more unpopular who's still alive. Like, even more than George Bush. You might as well got George Bush to endorse you. That would have been better. So, absolutely fucking insane that they thought that you could sway anyone with these people. And also, on top of that, trying to out right-wing Republicans on the border on immigration is absolutely fucking insane. And it never works, really, especially when you're in government. Keir Starmer tried this a bit in the UK. I wouldn't say it worked because he didn't win like a massive share of the votes compared to previous Labour election cycles, but he did this. So I don't know if he's given Harris tips, but yeah, if you are presenting right wingers with light right wing, or let's say fascists with light fascism, they'll just pick the real thing. Why the fuck would they pick you? They hate you anyway. So it's just so crazy to me. They thought it was a good strategy. Now, people are probably wondering, what about the Israel stuff? Now, Michigan, she's going to lose, right? It seems like at the moment she's going to lose. But here's the thing, right? As much as I personally didn't vote for Labour because of Gaza, and in the UK we saw the record number of independent MPs elected because of Gaza specifically, we do have a larger Muslim population, not just in terms of percentage. We actually have more Muslim people in the UK than the whole of the US. Obviously, Palestine is more, important to Muslims generally in their religion and culture than it is to white Westerners and other groups. But at the same time, this was so divisive for people because they didn't want to be complicit in what's going on in Gaza right now. And she stood behind Joe Biden. She repeated everything she said. And then at last second, she said, like yesterday, I'm going to bring a ceasefire. Campaign on that then. Campaign on that. Get people energized. And also what's so infuriating is if Donald Trump had done all the stuff Joe Biden has done, they would be campaigning on this stuff, right? It's because Joe Biden did it, they didn't, and she refused to make a difference between her, make a case about how different she was from Biden. So you have the baggage from Biden. No one likes you. You got trounced by everyone in the Democratic primary. You're not the best for the job, and you don't promise anything. And this other contentious issue, Gaza, you refused to engage with left-wing people and Muslim communities on. So you're going to lose even more than you should. But at the end of the day, as much as I hate to say it, I wish they did lose because of Gaza. If they're going to lose over anything, they're not going to lose because of Gaza. It's not because of that. He is winning really, really like more than 2016. So we can't all say it's because of Gaza. As much as I wish Americans rejected the Democrats because of this. It's simply they voted for Trump for other reasons. And I'm gonna say this for the Democrats. You cannot blame, and to anyone who supports Kamala Harris, you can't blame anyone else. This is on you. This is on you. If Donald Trump is this existential threat, he's going to make America fascist, right? He's a fascist. He's going to make America fascist. There's no democracy. This is the last election. Why the fuck are you wheeling out Dick Cheney and trying to be even worse than him on the border? Why are you doing this? Again, it's because if Republicans are meant to be my enemy, why are you telling me they're actually our friends? Be consistent in your message. Either we're all the same and Donald Trump's a con man leading the American people to ruin, or they're our enemy and we shouldn't like vote for these people who are anti-American. What is it? It's so incoherent, it's so inconsistent, and people, if you even try and blame the Green Party for this and Jill Stein, your mind is cooked. He is running away with it. It doesn't fucking matter if people voted for Jill Stein. It seriously doesn't matter. This isn't a close election at this point, what I'm seeing. He's gonna win. He's gonna win so easily. It's not Jill Stein's fault. It's not left-wing people's fault. It's not progressives' fault. It's not Muslim people's fault. It's your fault. It's your arrogance and your terrible campaign. And whoever the fuck managed your campaign thinking people wanted to see Dick Cheney endorsing your candidate. Dick Cheney, who even Republicans hate. And it just blows my mind, right? Because meant to be the most important election, like every single one is apparently, according to the Democrats, and they pull this shit. So I'm sorry to my American friends and followers. I feel really bad for you. Trump is going to be really bad, like president, and I'm going to talk about this in the next video about how it affects the UK. And yeah, it's a bad. I wouldn't call it a bad day for democracy because the US isn't a democracy, but it's a bad day for the world, and mainly a bad day for Americans. Whether it's a bad day for the world, I mean, we're going to have to see how the next 4 years play out, but I'm not hopeful. But it's a bad day for Americans. It's a bad day for marginalized groups in America. The only thing you can hope for is he's so chaotic. You hope, like with the last administration, he's not going to get anything done. But even then, it's just like, who knows? So that is the failure of Kamala Harris. Worst Democratic presidential candidate in history. We're going to have to see. Walter Mondale, of course. I'm pretty sure it's Walter Mondale. He lost all the states apart from one. So she's done better there. But I don't know about the votes because he got like 30% of the vote, I think. I don't know. So that is it for this video. If people still on the stream, I'm still going. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments.